Okay, chemistry, so I'm going to explain a little bit more on how to do electron configurations, and these are examples. And so we're going to go through and we're going to work them on the periodic table. And I want to point out a couple of things when we do this. One, we're going to go in order. So first we're going to do hydrogen, then helium, then lithium, beryllium. So just like your periodic table, so hydrogen's right here. If we come over, then here's helium, number 2. Number 3 is lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. And then actually put oxygen next. It would be nitrogen next. So I want you to realize, one, that we're going in order on your periodic table. And 2, I want you to kind of see what's happening in a little bit of a pattern. So every single time we always start at the top. And so this is my S section right here. So I always have to say my energy level. So I'm in row 1, or energy level 1. I'm in the S section, and it's the first one. Okay, helium would be 1s2 because I'm still... The 1 is because I'm still in row 1, but this time, and I'm still in the S section, because remember, helium's the only one that's over here that's actually in the S section. It fits right there. And so we go, this is 1s1, this one has to be 1s2 to say that we filled up that S orbital. And so we have both those electrons in that S orbital. And so each element has their own special electron configuration. And so in this case, I want you to realize the difference between these two, because this is the first element and this one's the second element in that section. So we move on to lithium. We're always going to start back up at hydrogen. We're in row 1, we're in the S section, and we go through both of them. So we're in 1s2. That takes us to helium. We want to keep going to lithium. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go down to the next row. And so then now we're in row 2. We're in the S section. So row 2, S, and it's the first one. Okay, so then we're going to do beryllium, which is right beside lithium. So we always start at the top. So row 1, S, and then there's 2 of them because we go all the way over to helium. So 1, S, 2. Then we're going to go down. We're going to keep going, and now we're at lithium. So now we're at the 2, and then it's the S section. And guess what? It's 1, 2 to get there. So 2s2, and that's beryllium, and we stop there. Okay, so now if I were to keep going, and now I want to go to boron, I'm going to go my first row, 1. I'm in the S section. There's 2 of them. So 1, S2. Now lithium's next. We're in row 2. We're in the S section, and there's 2 of them. 1, 2. So 2s2. Okay, and now we got to keep going over. Now I've entered a new section. This section over here is the P section. All of these are P except for helium. Remember, that's the S that goes over here. So I need to say what row I'm in each time. So this is 2P and then 1. So 2P1. So then I'm going to do, I'll let you see that, 2P1. And so I'm going to do the same thing again, but now I'm doing it for carbon. So we're going to say 1 S section, and there's 1, 2 of them. Then we're going to go 2 S section, and there's 2. And then now we're over here, 2P, and then it's 1, 2. So all together, that's 1S2, 2S2, 2P2. Okay, if I were to do nitrogen, I'm going to have 1 S section, so then hydrogen's 1s1, helium is 1s2. We're going to jump down to lithium. That's the row 2. It's the S section, so 2S, and there's 2 of them, 2. Now we're over here, 2P, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, because we stop at nitrogen, 2P3. So this one's 1S2, 2S2, 2P3. Okay, so these are some examples I've worked for you. I want you to be able to see them really well. I want you to understand them. So we're going to come up close. I want you to realize the difference between them and the similarities. So every single time we say our rows, so there's always a big number first, followed by a letter, which tells us our shape, and then followed by how many electrons are actually filled in that shape. And then we go to the next one, and we always have to say our numbers. So there's a pattern there. You got big number, letter, little number, big number, letter, little number. And as we go through, if you look, none of these are the same. They might be similar. We're building, right? Lithium has a 1s2 inside of it, but that's not the only thing that it has. It has more. And so same as it goes on. So hopefully that's making a little bit of sense so you can work a few on your own. When you get into the D and the F section, you need to subtract 1 from your energy level. And so I'll show you what that looks like. We will work iron, Fe right here in the middle. Iron is what we're going to do. It's atomic number 26. Oh, and a side note before we do this, so you can know that you're doing it right, The atomic number of hydrogen is 1. The atomic number of helium is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And guess what? Each time their electrons add up to what they are. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 2 plus 2 plus 1 equals 5, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of your check that you did it right. Okay, so now we're going to do iron. So when I do iron, I'm going to start at my hydrogen always. So that is row 1, S section. So 1s, I'm going to go all the way through helium. So 1s2. Then we're going to the next row. Now we're at lithium. Now I'm in 2s2. So that takes me to beryllium. I'm going to go over to 2p, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. So 2p6. And then we're going to keep going. Now I'm at sodium, so that's 3s. And we're going to go 2. And then we're going to go 3p6. So now we've moved all the way and finished that whole third row. So now we're on row 4. So now it's going to be 4s2. So I want y'all to realize row 4, s2. So I'm at calcium. Iron's on this row, and we're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in. Okay? And it's our section D. But in this case, we're in row 4, but for D's, you have to subtract 1. D means in minus 1. So then I'm going to take 4 minus 1. So I'm actually in the third energy level. So it's going to go from a 4s2 to a 3d6. It's a D because we're in the D section, and 6 because I counted over 6 places to iron. So that's what I mean when I say you subtract 1 for iron, is you're going to have, it's going to go from 3p to 4s2 to 3d. And then if we were on the next row, it would be 5s, 4d, 6s, 5d, 7s, 6d. Okay, and then F's you would subtract 2, which we'll get to an F later on. But hopefully that's making sense, and you can work a couple problems on your own.